Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
This is the Morning Drive, and it's recruitment and jobs and human resources and things like that. Now, David MacKenzie is here from MacKenzie Jones, and I will start with, what are we? It's the 8th of January. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, nice to see you. We were having this discussion, and I've asked loads of people this, and I feel like a broken record, but you can say Happy New Year until about the 10th.
No, I think it's by Friday. What's Friday?
Is it Friday? So that's the 9th, which is pretty close.
We're splitting hairs there, right?
We are, really, yeah. But you kind of can. Haven't seen you. Everything okay? Christmas good?
Very
New
good.
Year
Boys
yeah?
were here. I gave my company the whole of Christmas off, actually.
You're too nice.
No, it was for a number of reasons. One is nothing's happening, and I don't want to make people sit in the office when they could be with their families. We got more credibility out of giving them 3 or 4 days extra off because they come back refreshed, happy. Actually, they're not. They're a bit grumpy at the moment.
What have you done now?
Nothing.
Is my first comment.
No, I think.
What did you say to somebody?
Usually is that point.
Yeah.
No, I think they came. I think when everyone comes back after New Year, especially after they've had 2 weeks away,
yeah,
it's a bit of a getting. And I try not to give them a hard time in the first week because they're just readjusting back into the work life, aren't they?
Do you know, it's funny. A couple of mornings this week, first hour has been. You know, it's very hard to kick in. The first week of the New Year is hard to kick in, and I've found it really difficult. A little bit difficult to be nice to people at 8 o'clock in the morning. So you're here, it's
so
after
unlike
10,
you.
so you're fine. But I know exactly what you mean. It's brain engagement, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think even, there are some things like people are taking slightly longer coffee breaks and stuff, and I'm like, just let them chill, and they'll kick in. They've got 11 more months to get our business back on for a good year, so... We had a good year last year, so I'm super happy.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that because I read your latest LinkedIn offering, your latest article that you posted yesterday entitled How It Went in 2025 and What to Expect in 2026, which I thought was quite a catchy headline.
Did you? I thought it was very bland.
Yeah, I did. No, because actually most headlines try to be too cryptic now because people sit and think about it, and it is an art and a science. It's kind of metaphysical creating headlines, I think, in media. So sometimes it's best to just go with the first one.
You know what? It's interesting. I talk to my consultants, and I have a multinational consultant based, Pakistani, South African, etc.
Yeah.
And I always say to them, if you're going to say something, say it clearly and plainly. Do not try and be clever with English. Just be clear.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. But that's the problem in business, though, isn't it? It's very often a problem on here when people will use jargon. And I'm as guilty as anybody because in some ways you kind of have to. But I do find myself using jargon thinking, I need a slap.
I'm a recruiter.
Somebody
we use
needs
jargon to punctuate sentences.
Yeah, you do, actually.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Like real estate agents as well. The property is
I'm
well presented.
I'm glad you've put me as comparison to them. They're very successful at the moment. Let's face it, they are the kings of the wild frontier.
That's where I was going. Success was all over that statement. So in your article, overall a great year, 70% up on 2024.
Yeah.
But what I liked about this, and this is not because we're playing showbiz rules here, i.e. the person in front of you love the most and you suck up to them.
Yeah.
I'm not doing such showbiz rules. I liked it for this reason, your article. Particularly great first half of the year. But you're very honest. Second half, not so good at all.
Yeah, it was super disappointing. We flew out the traps in Q1 last year. Our guys were on fire. We kept winning projects for RPOs. We did 2 massive ones in Saudi. Then June happened, and it's like the whole of the GCC went to sleep. Now there are a couple of reasons. I think people were anticipating a crash last year in around the June time.
Right.
And it didn't happen, and it hasn't happened so far. And I think clients weren't prepared to recruit in the second half of the year. So what they were doing was extending the whole process. So we had lots of delays. Saudi went to sleep in Q4 because PIF were rebudgeting, their 3-year rebudget, which I think affected the whole market. And we found clients were very slow to make decisions. It was a real sort of, but let me give you a flip side. We ended the year really high, and we had a very good November and December.
Yeah.
But June onwards was just it was quite frustrating.
I felt as though as well. I mean, I appreciate the honesty first of all, and the takeaways with this. And you list these. Offers took ages, but there are a few things in here that you've talked about in the times that you've been coming into the studio here. Massive influx of talent from the UK, destroying salary values. And in brackets, you wrote there, I mean this in reality.
It did. I mean, I pick on the UK, and forgive me if you're English or British or Scottish, because obviously those are very different things.
Yeah, or Welsh or Northern Irish.
I was ignoring them. What did you say to me before?
Do you know what I said to you? Sometimes you sail close to the wind.
Yeah, I think that was one of them.
That was one.
You didn't bring up War Horse, have you yet?
No, I'm saving that.
Okay. So, yes, going back to that, the issue in Europe, we're facing an economic crisis, and in UK particularly, being Brits, we see this.
Yeah.
And what's happened is I think a lot of British people have gone, look, I want to better my life and I want to go somewhere else because the UK's tanking, I don't want to be here, taxes, etc. And they've all come here, which I have no issue with. The problem is a lot of them have come here without jobs. So they've got to a point of 3 or 4 months into their job search and they're going, I can't ask for the salary I expect. I'm just going to take whatever I can get.
Okay.
Which, as a human being, you have to provide for your family or provide for yourself. So you'll do that. What it's done to the market is undercut the market. So certainly in my profession, which is HR, we've seen people coming in who are very experienced, taking really low salaries and undercutting the existing candidate base, which has proved to be an issue.
Okay.
Now, clients love it.
And it's had a very real effect.
Very real effect.
Okay.
You know, we're seeing a lot of clients picking and choosing. It goes to one of my points there. The reason clients are taking so long to make decisions is there's so much in the marketplace. There's a massive oversupply.
Yeah, okay.
And this is the issue we're facing. Now, I think Q1 that will wash out. We're seeing people going back now.
Okay.
Because they've come here without a job, put the kids into school, got a villa, and suddenly going, I need a job. The job market is still slow.
All right, then. The other thing, and you've talked about this before, and I think this is a frustration that you deal with every second, every minute, every hour of every day. One of our key values is that we spend a lot of time with candidates guiding, mentoring, and keeping them updated, and to a degree motivated. Okay, that's difficult with the number of candidates that answer our adverts, and this is the crux. I think this is interesting because you've to say ranted is a bit extreme, but you have mentioned
I think you're right.
Maybe you've ranted. Each advert gets over 800 replies, of which barely 3 or 4 are relevant. It's a massively poor hit rate.
Really bad. The Middle East is unique in this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Europe, if you place an advert, you'll get 60 or 70 replies, of which 10 or 15 people will be spot on. The issue we have in the Middle East is we attract demographics from everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
Which is the benefit, and this is the point in being in the UAE. It's an amazing place. It's a melting pot of hundreds of nationalities, literally.
215 apparently.
Really? Wow.
That's what I read recently. Yeah.
Well, they're all applying to my ads.
Yeah, clearly.
And if ever I can give a message to a candidate, do not apply to an advert that you're not relevant for. Look at what the consultant's looking for, i.e., HR manager, 5 years experience in FMCG. If you're a salesperson based from UK selling armoured cars, please don't apply to that advert. So
when LinkedIn sends you the email that says, these are roles that you may be a fit for.
Yep.
And it will come up with 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And I don't always, I do on occasion look, and I'm like, nah. And I never fit any of them. Maybe that's because I don't like them. Maybe it's because, but I don't.
Well, you're being
genuinely
picky.
fit. I'm being picky, but I guess a lot of people just think, I'll just.
There's a thing called
CV.
on LinkedIn called Easy Apply. You just literally push the button and it applies.
Yeah, I love that.
It's terrible for us.
Yeah, I know it's awful. I know. No, I realise.
And the real issue here is good candidates get lost.
Yeah.
So our researchers have to go through all those profiles and screen them. So we screen them through, using a bit of AI, using a bit of screening questions, etc. So we'll often put screening questions in there. Are you a UA national? Do you have a family book? It's a yes or no. You'll be surprised the amount of people who aren't UA nationals put yes. Yeah, really? I know. It's any recruiter will understand the frustration, and clients will understand the frustration. People think that they're going to yes. Oh, they might just look at my CV anyway, and I might be relevant.
Well, one of the things about CVs, David, not being funny, but first of all, don't lie, and if you do, make sure it can't be checked.
Welcome to my world.
You know, I mean, that's amazing.
This is not me. It's every recruitment company faces the same issue.
Yeah, okay.
And it really is. And the problem is, and again, I go back to the real reason why this is a problem. We're missing good people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you said, I mean, that's what you said a number of times. And I never really thought about it. I can see that it's an issue, but it does stop you finding the right candidate for the right role at the right time, doesn't it?
It's a needle in the haystack, and it genuinely is like that. And we want to find the needle, but we have to go through all of this hay to find the right person. It takes masses of man hours and processing power to find those people, and often we'll miss them, which is the real shame here.
Okay. What was the other thing that was in your article that I wanted to ask you about? So just rounding up, and I appreciate the difficulties there. So if you're sending a CV for any old job and you're not UE national and you're asking for UE national, don't do it. 2026, slow start. Another tough year this year, do you think? Oversupply again?
I think Q1 we'll hopefully see the oversupply diminish.
Right.
More and more clients, by the end of Q1, the bonuses will be paid. People will actively be moving, because once bonuses get paid, you almost see, certainly in banking, a big transition. People leave.
Right.
So we're expecting a good 2026. That'll be fueled by two things. One is our RPO business rather than our executive recruitment business. The other one is obviously the Kingdom. The Kingdom's going to come back online, and we're going to continue recruiting into those markets.
Okay, so you're going to be part-time Saudi Arabia, part-time UAE?
Going on Tuesday morning again, I like Saudi, and I miss the UAE because I love living here, and it's a home, but I do like Saudi. I like the Saudis, I like the people, I like the energy there as well, but it's got a long way to go.
Okay. Our main story today, David MacKenzie from MacKenzie Jones, is here. We're unlikely to have time for questions today, but if you want to get in touch, very welcome to whatsapp.mira.fm or info@mira.fm. Is this, how do you spot a good employer? So, how do you spot a good employer? I've researched this. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this.
I'm hoping you'll answer this then.
Well, I kind of thought, before you meet a prospective employer, you're looking around and thinking, right, I need a new job, or I need a job, or I'm thinking of a new job. Word of mouth, is that the first place? Where does it start?
It does. The analogy I always use is it's one of the single most important things in your life. It's your family, your career, your health. Those are the things. So I'm amazed how many people don't treat their job search as a process, as a long-term process. So, example, when you go and buy a car, which is a fairly high capital expenditure, you research the car, you test drive the car, you try different models, you ask your friends, you go online, you do all of this, don't you?
Yeah, you get the
By
brochures,
default.
the whole bit.
It's amazing how many people just go, I want a new job, I'm going to apply to that one.
Really?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So what I always say to people, when you're looking for a job, it's a bit like when you first run a marathon. You don't run a marathon on day one, you run a marathon on month 6. And during the process, you're going gradually faster, doing longer distances, etc. So it's a planning process. So when you're looking for your job, you need to go, right, is my CV up to date? Is my LinkedIn up to date? Do those two match, by the way? They should match.
Yeah, okay.
Often they don't.
Yeah.
We tell. Because essentially what happens is when you apply for a job, most clients go onto LinkedIn first and have a look at your profile.
Okay, so be consistent and make sure that the lies are really ironclad.
Perfectly aligned.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Never lie.
Don't lie on a CV.
No, don't, because honestly, it's so difficult to keep the lies going.
Yeah.
And if you do,
Truth's easier.
Honestly,
Because you remember it.
I can't lie, and my wife knows this. So when she asks me a question,
handy.
I'm a terrible recruiter because I cannot lie. I have to tell the truth, which is terrible. I'm pretty sure I'd be better at it. Anyway, moving on. Again, saying too much. So the other bit is identify the types of companies you want to go and work for. Don't pick Google, Amazon, all those ones. Pick the companies that where you've got really good skill sets. So again, going back to my HR analogy, if you're a comp and benz or reward person and you're in a financial services company and you want to go and work for a Visa or a MasterCard or one of those big players, find out who the head of comp and benz is, head of reward is, connect up with them on LinkedIn, start having a dialogue with them. Like their articles, comment on their articles, write articles that reference Visa, reference MasterCard. Start being engaged in your industry, become a thought leader. It doesn't take that long to do that. We've built the MacKenzie Jones brand on the back of social media, LinkedIn predominantly.
Well, you're very active on LinkedIn.
I'm very active in every sense.
Yeah, well, that's very true. Yeah, I wondered where you were going there.
I was hoping I was going to stop.
Yeah, so me too.
Yeah, I think I said to my guys this morning, I sent them a message saying, just remember, guys, beginning of the new year, make sure you get onto LinkedIn and start engaging. And it's all about engaging with employers, engaging with candidates, engaging with recruitment consultants.
And that engaging is commenting, it's being present, it's updating your profile, it's writing articles.
Sharing articles, writing your thoughts. I mean, the article I wrote there didn't take me particularly long. It's my view, whether you agree on it or not. I don't even know how many people liked it, actually. But what it does, people have a position about you. They think this is what David is, this is what David stands for. So if we have a job that fits David's skills, we'll hire him.
I have to learn that.
Well, you got to remember, and this is again, I'm probably talking again too much. Recruiters are there to help clients sort the wheat from the chaff, to find that needle in the haystack. If you as a candidate are constantly engaging with the head of comp and bens, and if he goes, we need a comp and bens manager, David's been in contact with me, you're going to cut the recruiter out.
Yeah, you're front and centre, aren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And clients like that because they don't have to spend any money. The reason why they use this is because the problem, they get inundated with response, and we have a network of people we've known for years. That's why they use us. We are an invaluable source of a network.
Yeah, and the point here is you have to make sure that you cut through and you can get to the top of the pile in some way. And I suppose the more engaged you are, the more.
And also network. You mentioned this before.
Yeah.
If you know somebody, use your network. People are not worried if you start engaging with them, ask them to help them find the job.
Okay, so make sure that your LinkedIn matches your life and your life matches your LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. Your work life, I'm talking about.
Make it interesting, by the way. Make your LinkedIn interesting. Put some of what you've been doing on there.
How do you do that? How do you make it interesting?
If you look at mine, I'm an athlete. Well, I say that in the broadest sense. I used to be an Ironman.
I'm an athlete. I did say when you walked in, I said to you, you look well, and I meant that you look fit and healthy.
Got my Spanx on today.
There you go. Good.
So I'm an ex-athlete.
You actually have got your Spanx on, haven't you?
They come right up here. So I think I do a lot of posts about how being a triathlete has helped me run a business. Because what it does, it helps me de-stress, it helps me think clearly, and it gives me a different perspective on life. I'm not all about work. There's something else I do beyond work. And what that's done is I've found a lot of people who I do triathlons with have become clients, have become candidates. So the business world here and the leisure world or the exercise world are interlinked. And I think people always like to see what are you interested in doing? What have you done? Have you been in the military? A lot of people take their military experience off, and I'm like, that's fascinating because you've learned discipline, you've learned to follow orders, you've learned to come up, do things in difficult situations. I think all these sorts of things are very interesting. I met a lady the other day who was an ex-ballet dancer. She was fascinating. Just how she talked about the discipline of being a ballet dancer, the injuries, how she overcame injuries, how on stage she'd be injured and she'd still be dancing and have to be perfect. And now she's a recruiter, and she uses that every day in her recruitment life.
I saw that movie, Black. That's a very hard profession. Very tough.
Feet. Have you ever seen their feet?
The things she go through injury-wise, absolutely right. But you would take certain things from that. So I guess if you're looking for experience or how to become more resilient, that's a pretty decent person to talk to. So I get the connection.
Example, when you go and see an HR person for an interview, that HR person will probably see anywhere between 8 to 10 people for that job.
Okay.
How do you think you stand out? It's your skill set, whether you're a nice person, how you look, smart, well presented, and there's the X factor. How did they interest me? Because you said it in the morning about starting up. It took you a bit of time to start. HR person literally goes, another person to interview. Great. If you've got a really interesting...
HR people are like me.
Exactly. Yeah, but they've got a difficult job because they've got to sort through all the... And everyone says roughly the same things. But if you're slightly unique, where you've done something different, like you're a ballet dancer or you've, driven an airship, flown an airship, I don't know what you do with airships, just something that's interesting that's beyond your work life. It means you're just an interesting individual. People want to hire interesting people.
Yeah, they do. I get that.
Providing you can do the job, obviously.
How important is the dress thing? You said something
Very.
there. How is that really still really key?
Says me in a T-shirt and jeans.
Presentation. Yeah, but nice T-shirt. Though.
Thank you.
But-
I think it's like anything. It's like when I assume when you go on a date, you don't turn up looking like, you've just rolled out of bed. Or do you? I don't know. Maybe you do these days. Anyway, maybe that's the wrong analogy.
I don't know. It's been a bit of a while for us, so not the people to
Hopefully
ask.
never going to happen again. So, but the point is, when your first impression is often what people have in their memory of you.
Sure.
And I think looking smart, you don't have to wear a suit and a tie, but if you're going for an interview, you need to be presenting your best self. Looking smart, shaved, you've done your hair if you have hair. You look like you're wearing a nice shirt, you're wearing a nice pair of trousers, your shoes are clean. Just look, your hands are literally little things. What I always look at is I look at people's watches and nails.
Clean nails.
And shoes. I always look at those three things.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, my clients are always amazingly immaculate because they're HR people, but if you talk to an HR person, why do you like them? Oh, he was really smart, came across really well, engaged with me, held eye contact.
Okay. All right, then. So we're completely off topic, but I'm unsurprised by that, as is always the case. How do you spot a good employer? What was my first question? Is it word of mouth? No, it's a bit more than that. So you started with LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn is
very important.
Right. So then I sat and I kind of thought this through, and I sort of compartmentalized this. And then I went from word of mouth, so LinkedIn, your network, so the word of mouth aspect, and then I thought research.
Yes.
Do your research, and you've kind of mentioned that
Absolutely.
already as well. Read the online reviews. Trawl through companies' social media. Never troll.
No.
Through social media. But actually, that's really important. And even if you think it's just somebody who was in the company that makes a passing comment, it may relate in some way.
So I'm always a big believer. If you've seen somebody who's worked at the company and left, link up with them. Hi,
okay.
I'm thinking of joining this company. What are your thoughts on them? Now, be prepared for negativity, because if they've been fired or left, then you'll get a negative response. Look on Glassdoor. Glassdoor's a review site for
I was going to bring that up.
companies.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with Glassdoor, when anybody's got a gripe, they put it on Glassdoor. See, again, you have to treat this sort of slightly cautiously.
Gripes are very easy to amplify.
Yes.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
It's, that's a sensational headline. So
Exactly. Are you ever going to go onto a site and put they're an amazing company? I mean, trying to do an Amazon review is always difficult, isn't it? They keep pushing you to do it, but I tend to do it because I want people to know that I bought something nice.
Mine always get refused. I'm afraid we can't publish this. I'm like, well,
It's a picture review, is it?
just
Holding the kettle.
me in my shorts. This doesn't work. I tell you honestly, I bought a printer once and I could not get the thing working. So I thought, I just went aside and smashed it and jumped on it. And honestly, I'm not like that.
Rational view.
It wasn't an expensive printer, but it made me feel so much better. I've just admitted that live.
Yeah,
Oh.
Amazon are going to put a big red mark on you now.
Anyway.
But yeah, going back to the thing about references, don't be afraid to contact people who have been at those companies, especially if they've left. I always try and do that. But also ask friends, do you know this company? It's 6 degrees of separation. Somebody in their network will know that company and have an opinion. But just be careful. The UA is a very opinionated society because we're a very free and open society. Mm-hmm. But somebody's opinion may not necessarily be the truth, because if they've been fired, they haven't liked their boss, or they've loved the business so much, you've got to treat everything slightly with a pinch of salt.
You need to be able to read between the lines.
Yeah, but if there's a consistent theme on Glassdoor, on LinkedIn, then if that theme becomes a consistent one, then you know that probably isn't a good company.
Okay. So how to spot a good employer. The next kind of little compartment, my next thing on the list is in jobs listings, a good employer, and I'm sure you can back me up on this, should provide a really clear job description.
Yep.
And also, the expectations for the position as well. Is that
absolutely spot on?
Right.
I think if you go onto LinkedIn, you see really lazy employers put looking for HR manager, 5 years experience, must be in the UAE, and that's it.
Yeah.
You look at the good ones, they've got the brand, they've got the intro, they've got the meat of what the job is, then they've got the requirements, and then they've got usually a disclaimer at the bottom saying we're open to all employees, whether nationality, race, etc. And that shows they're a good employer.
Okay. So
No,
that's
that could be a small company or a very big one.
okay. So that's really important, and I think that to me that gives you a really good idea of how serious they are.
It's like when you
First of all, in the industry they're in, but also with that position.
they've taken time to write that.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest issue we have with clients is they don't take time to write job descriptions. If they don't take time to write job descriptions, how serious are they about finding the right person? So some of my clients who I like my clients, they're good people. Some of them go, David, you know what we're like, just you'd write it. And I'm like, no, you need to write this because I don't know the nuances of your company. So we make them write the job description if they haven't.
I like that. Okay. Then I'm thinking, if you're fortunate enough to get an interview, you've applied, and you think this is a good employer, how can you begin to tell? And this is almost impossible to answer, but this is all about how you feel. But how can you begin to tell that you're joining somewhere decent when you're in an interview situation?
Yeah.
What are the signs?
The signs are, what's the building like?
Okay.
Have they given you directions to the building? Have they helped you get to the interview? When you go into reception, what's the receptionist like? How do they come across? What is the bit? Is it smart inside? Is it falling apart? That doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad company if it's falling apart. When you meet the person interviewing, do they know you? Have they looked at your CV? Ask them questions about their company. Do they give you an answer? Do they engage in a conversation with you? Do they ask really interesting questions about you? Or is it just the rote? How much experience you got? What have you done? What have you achieved? What do you like as an individual? Do they start really engaging with you as an interviewer? It's very important, and I say this to clients, every candidate coming to you is a potential endorsement of your organization. If they leave and you reject them properly because they're not right, they'll go and say, look, I went to company X, Y, and Z. I really liked them. They just didn't want me. I really want to get back to that company. They'll tell all their friends, and that multiplies by 1,000,000 times or whatever.
Okay.
So find out whether the person, and then say to them at the end, what's the process? What goes from here? Oh, well, if you pass, this is what you'll do. This is what you do. When will you come back to me? That's the really key one. The biggest issue clients have now is they don't come back to candidates.
Do you know, I was going to say there, and that was actually as part of the next point. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So if you're somewhere, before we get to that, if you when you walk into a house or a flat or an apartment, wherever you're going to buy or rent, you walk in. I always think if you walk in and you feel like you can see yourself there, that's the first good sign.
Yes, that's a good one.
So I think fine, and I kind of think there's a similarity, there's a parallel there between that and job interviews. When you walk in, you get a feeling for a place.
Like when you walk into reception and you go to see the receptionist and they're smiling, they're helpful, and as you sit down, are people walking through interacting with the receptionist? What's the vibe like in the office?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good measure of what a company's like. Do you hear people talking next door, or is it dead quiet?
Yeah, okay. So we're starting to build up a picture here, aren't
Exactly.
we? That's the thing. Okay, so during the interview, my next point was pay attention to, what's the word? Behavior. Make sure you ask about company culture, because, you're not going to get if you don't ask. And you're going to need to ask those questions about company culture to see if you're a fit, and to get an idea, to build a picture of. I'm having trouble with my words today, aren't I?
I can see you struggling.
To build. Sometimes my brain is firing, and
I know where you're going.
The connection is to build up a picture of what the actual culture is like by asking. That's what I'm trying to say.
We call it the invisible culture. So one of my questions I always say to candidates at more of the junior level, I always say to ask the person why the previous incumbent left.
Okay.
It's a really good.
It's perfectly okay to ask.
A lot of them will go, actually, we just promoted them. Brilliant. So you already know they have a meritocracy, they'll promote people internally. If the person said, well, they've left, why did they leave? Oh, they found a better offer. I start delving down. Now, I'm an extrovert. Most people aren't. So it's very difficult to tackle a future employer. It may be better in the second or third interview when you're speaking to a line manager rather than an HR person.
Right, okay.
Because then you've got more, then you're through a couple of phases and they like you, you can start asking those more difficult questions. I don't suggest you do that in the very first one, because in the very first one, this is a peacock moment. You are showing your best personality, your
peacock
best experience. All these are coming out now. You've unlocked the...
Yeah, I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to keep a list, and at the end of the year, we'll give you an award for the best one.
I think Warhorse has got to be the best.
Oh, that's not going anywhere. Peacock moment.
So I think you have to walk out, and I think your analogy about walking to an apartment, it fills you. When you walk out of that company, in your mind you're going, this is the right place for me.
Yeah.
So what I always do, once you've finished, go home, write an email to that HR person, whoever interviews, saying, just want to say thank you very much for your time. It was really nice meeting with you. I look forward to hearing back from you soon. It's a nice, courteous way of acknowledging their time.
Yeah, which is good advice, actually, because manners don't cost nothing.
Exactly, and people forget that. I think people just go, oh, they're an HR person, I'm going through to the next stage. HR are the key. They're the gatekeepers.
Yeah. Okay, all right then. Now, during the interview process, you start to get an idea of how good or not good or how things might be. And I think a good interview is, I don't know if I'm right here, but it's designed to help you show your strengths. A good interview shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable, should it? Or confuse you?
No, the latter
fair?
definitely. I think uncomfortable is probably the wrong word. I think it should challenge you.
Because it's already uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a very false thing, isn't it? It's an artificial environment where you've got to show your whole career in about half an hour. Yeah. Which is very difficult to do. Yeah. But I think what you have to do is, if you're a good interviewer, you should make the person in front of you have to work quite hard to show their best self. Because if they go, well, I launched this product, I always go, well, how did you do it? Who did you do it with? What were the outcomes? And in a good interview, we'll start pulling apart something to find the real answer.
I felt like I had to answer you there.
I saw the look of panic in your eyes.
I didn't launch it. I didn't do it.
Honestly, the amount of people I've met who launched Kareem.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. There have been a number of founders, haven't there?
Exactly. Yeah. And and it's very interesting when you meet somebody and they talk about their experience. You can tell the people that have actually done it and the people that have been part of a team. There's nothing wrong with being part of a team. Just describe your experience as part of that team. Humility in an interview is a very powerful tool.
Yeah, because we're told to talk up our previous achievements in interviews, but there's a point at which it becomes just malignant narcissism, isn't there? And it just gets a little bit.
And you can tell, as an interviewer, you can tell that.
Yeah. Okay. So there was something else here, and I wonder. It used to be a thing that an interview question was: say you're a goldfish, you're in a bowl, you have an argument with the other goldfish, solve this riddle. And I think it was like a psychometric test.
You argue with yourself.
Psychometric testing. Well, no, it's just that goldfish has a 6-second attention span. So by the time you've gone round the bowl, you've forgotten and I think that was the answer. Yeah. Or other things like people say things like, "How many golf balls could you fit in a school bus?" They're not real world.
I don't think people ask those anymore.
Does that ever happen? Because
if somebody asked me that, I mean, I got asked the other day.
I'd have a guess.
No, if somebody's asked me that, I said, I have no idea. What are you talking about? American school bus? Are you talking about a fancy bus? Are you talking about a Dewa bus? What are you talking about? A Dewa bus you can probably get more in because they're bigger.
True.
A fancy bus is slightly smaller because the school kids are given a bit more room.
I can't think of anything else now apart from the answer to how many golf balls you can fit in a school bus. It's going to bug me all day.
I'm going to Google it and send it back to you.
Thanks very much.
But the point is, if somebody asks you a question like that, and if they go, "Sell me a pen," this was the old one back in the day when you were a salesperson.
That's the kind of thing that
I always go,
hear about.
What do you really want me to do? Do you want me to tell you about how I've sold a product? Then let me do that rather than telling you about selling a pen. Because that's a bit disingenuous. It's not. Again, I'm a stronger personality, so it's easier for me to do that. But my most difficult interview was with the founder of Monster.com, a guy called Jeff Taylor, when I went to become the MD of Monster. He had an office with a surfboard in, 2 leather couches, and a huge goldfish tank at the back with a shark in it, like a baby shark. It used to swim around the room. It's quite disconcerting when it went by. So he said to me, "You've got a great CV. You can do this job standing on your head. Why do you want it?" I'm like, and my first answer, because it's Monster.com, which is not the right answer, by the way.
No, I was going to say.
And I had to think about that. And I said, honestly, up until a week ago, I didn't know I wanted the job. And he went, oh, what changed? I said, I discovered what you are and what you're trying to achieve, and I want to be part of the journey.
Nice answer.
And he literally said to me, it's yours. That was our interview.
There and then?
Yeah, because he said, you gave me a very honest answer, and you gave me a very positive part of it.
What interested me there was if you take a pause and you say, can I be really straight with you, or can I be honest with you, then generally you're getting the honesty, aren't you? And I suppose that's what you're looking for.
And what an employer will understand is that if you're in a situation where you don't know an answer, you're not going to try and style it out. You're actually going to go, actually, I don't know the answer, let me come back to you. I much prefer my consultants when I go, what's this? They go, actually, I don't have an idea, but give me half an hour, I'll come back to you.
I like that. We've